On a sunny day in Los Angeles, Mike Tyson decided to take a walk through the neighborhood market. As he walked keeping a low profile, a group of racist Mexican thugs spot him and whisper to themselves that he doesn't belong here. Then they decide to attack Mike Tyson, not knowing he is the world's toughest boxer and was about to give them the lesson of their lives. Subscribe and like this video to see how the story unfolds. The vivid scenery of the East Los Angeles street market bursts to life as the hulking figure of Tyson navigates the maze of stalls and vendors. Stopping by a fruit stand, he catches the eye of a friendly elderly woman named Maria who greets him with a warm smile. Tyson, his gaze alighting on the colorful assortment of fresh fruits, begins selecting some juicy oranges, his brawny fingers inspecting their quality. Maria, charmed by the unexpected presence of the once famous boxer, gazes up at him with a mix of admiration and curiosity. Maria's attention is captured not only by the towering presence of the former heavyweight champion, but also by the distinct familiarity of his rugged face. Her eyes twinkle with curiosity as she poses a question. Maria, her voice warm and inquisitive, "You look familiar. Are you someone famous?" Tyson, despite his towering presence and rugged features that could be recognized even from a distance, greets her with a chuckle and a disarming smile, his easy demeanor suggesting he's just another shopper. Tyson's humility and genial nature stand in contrast to his formidable reputation and physical presence, adding a touch of tenderness to the moment. His chuckle booming but kind echoes Maria's laughter. Tyson, his smile broad, his words self-deprecating, "Not anymore, ma'am, just a regular guy looking for some good oranges. You got the best in town, right?" Maria, touched by Tyson's disarmingly pleasant manner, responds with a hearty chuckle, Maria's beaming smile radiant as the California sun spreads across her face, warming the air between her and the former heavyweight champion. "Maria, here, take this one on the house, a little extra sweetness for a humble customer." Tyson takes the orange and pockets it with a grateful nod, a gesture that speaks volumes about his appreciation for the kindness. Leaving Maria's stall behind, Tyson continues his leisurely stroll, his frame towering above the bustling crowd. Tyson's serene enjoyment of the market is suddenly interrupted by the disturbance caused by a rowdy group of 5 men, their boisterous laughter and taunts reverberating through the market's cacophony. The gang members, each adorned in a uniform of menacing leather jackets emblazoned with their gang's emblem, instantly spot Tyson and halt their antics, exchanging smirks and looks of veiled interest. Their eyes bloodshot and intimidating size him up from head to toe, their inebriated minds already devising a mischievous plan. Luis, the apparent ringleader of the pack, emboldened by liquid courage, rises from his perch on the corner store steps and saunters towards Tyson, his gait exuding a false confidence and a sense of territorial entitlement. Luis, his voice slurring, his breath reeking of cheap beer, "Hey, look at this guy, what's he doing here? Doesn't he know this is our turf, you lost pretty boy?" Carlos, his sneer and laughter adding to the hostile atmosphere, chimes in from his position on the steps. Carlos, his laugh derisive and cutting, "He looks like he's lost. Maybe we should help him find his way out. Or maybe we should charge him a toll for walking through our territory." Luis, the other gang members snicker and egg Carlos on, their posturing becoming more brazen as the potential for trouble brews. Tyson, his years of experience in the ring and in life teaching him the art of patience, remains unfazed by the gang's taunts and menacing stares. He walks on, ignoring their attempts to goad him into a confrontation. But Luis and his gang have no intention of letting Tyson off the hook, fueled by a mixture of alcohol and unchecked aggression. They approached the former champion, Luis, his voice laced with menace, "Hey, you deaf for something? I'm talking to you. You don't turn your back on me, old man." Tyson, his massive frame turning to face the gang, is a picture of calmness, his demeanor almost unnerving in the face of Luis's provocation. Tyson, his voice, even his words measured, "I'm not looking for any trouble, fellas, just enjoying my day. Let's not ruin it, okay?" The gang members exchanged looks, a brief moment of uncertainty flickering through their eyes, but Luis, bolstered by his gang's presence, steps closer to Tyson. Luis, his expression twisting into a malevolent grin, his words dripping with sarcasm, mocks Tyson's plea for peace. Luis, his words heavy with mockery, his tone sharp as a switchblade. "Trouble? Who said anything about trouble? We're just being friendly, ain't that right, boys?" His gang members snort in laughter, the rising threat of violence palpable in their jeering. The gang closes in on Tyson, forming a semicircle of danger around the towering former champ. Their snickers escalate into toothy grins, their eyes shining with the lust for violence and domination. Carlos, emboldened by his position in the group, steps forward, his hand resting menacingly on Tyson's shoulder. Carlos, his voice low, his gaze piercing, "You look like you got some money on you. Why don't you share some with us? We don't want to have to get unfriendly." Tyson, the very embodiment of patience, with a hint of disappointment and resignation, his shoulders Slumping with the weight of this unnecessary confrontation, Tyson, his voice weary but still commanding, "Look, I don't want any problems, why don't you guys let me be, and we'll all have a good day." Carlos's hand still resting on Tyson's shoulder, his smirk now contorted into a sneer. "Lean in closer." Carlos's voice laced with condescension. "Oh yeah." Luis, emboldened by Tyson's seemingly passive resistance, steps up to the former champion, his fingers jabbing into Tyson's chest like a dagger. Luis, his voice now laced with a snarling aggression. "You don't tell us what to do, this is our neighborhood, you don't belong here, you're in our territory now, old man." The tension in the air reaches a fever pitch, the gang mem's shoulders tensing like coiled springs, the surrounding shoppers and pedestrians scattering like prey before the hunters. In a swift aggressive motion, Luis lunges for the bag of oranges, his hand snatching it from Tyson's grasp and tossing it carelessly to the ground, the fruits scattering and rolling across the concrete like marbles. The gang members, energized by Luis's act of aggression, begin to circle Tyson, their swaggering steps becoming more predatory. Luis, his arrogance and aggression boiling over, stands defiantly before the titan like Tyson, his eyes flashing with a dare. Luis, his voice seething with venom. "What are you going to do about it, tough guy, huh? You going to cry about your oranges?" Tyson, his face a study in stoicism, stares back at Luis with a cold unflinching gaze, his silence more intimidating than any threat. Tyson, the embodiment of controlled fury, clenches his fists until his knuckles turn white, a small but visible sign of the barely contained violence surging within him. Tyson, his words measured and powerful, his voice a weapon. "You've got one chance to walk away, don't make me do something we both regret." Luis, his ego refusing to back down, counters Tyson's warning with a taunting smirk. Luis's bravado threatening to tip into recklessness. "Ha, or what?" Carlos, the obnoxious ringleader in this gang of delinquents, cackles in contemptuous amusement at Tyson's perceived softness, his laughter a piercing dagger of derision. Carlos, his voice dripping with mockery. "Oh, look at this guy, he thinks he's some kind of tough guy. What's he going to do, punch us? I bet he can't even throw a punch anymore." The gang echoes Carlos' laughter, their taunts becoming more derisive with each passing second, the air practically crackling with their bravado. Luis, emboldened by his gang's laughter and Tyson's apparent restraint, makes his move, stepping aggressively towards the imposing figure of the boxer with a smirk of self-satisfaction. Luis shoves Tyson hard on the shoulder, the impact causing a ripple of surprise among the other gang members. Luis, his voice cocky, his smirk malicious. "Yeah, what are you going to do, old man? Think you can take us all on the shove?" The straw that breaks the camel's back triggers a chain reaction of raw power and retribution. Tyson, his eyes flashing with a predator's fury, takes a step back, his expression morphing from a mask of calmness into a grimace of pent-up rage. Tyson, his voice low, his words chilling. "All right, you asked for it." He lunges forward, his fists unleashing a torrent of pent-up energy, his blows raining down on Luis with the force of a hurricane. Tyson, a force of nature unleashed, strikes with the speed and ferocity of a raging thunderstorm, his initial jab precise and swift, lands with the force of a truck hitting a brick wall, knocking Luis to his knees and doubling him over in a wheezing agony. The gang members, frozen in a tableau of shock and disbelief, stare at the fallen Lees, their eyes reflecting the stark realization that they pushed too far. Carlos's expression twisting from shock into a mask of rage, steps towards Tyson, his fists balled and ready, his words laced with a cold fury hiss like venom. Carlos, his voice trembling with anger. "You're going to pay for that. You don't mess with us, old man, we're going to make you regret this." The other gang members, recovering from their initial shock, begin to encircle Tyson, forming a wall of menace around him, their eyes now gleaming with malice. Tyson, a hurricane of discipline and precision, moves with a grace and power that belies his size. Carlos's metal pipe, intended to deliver a vicious blow, becomes nothing more than a discarded toy in Tyson's hands. Tyson, his movements fluid, his words calm. "Drop it, I don't want to hurt you boys." Carlos, his rage blinding him, lashes out with a wild swing, but Tyson's reflexes are too fast. The escalating chaos now spilling into the streets draws a fascinated crowd, each person's smartphone capturing the unfolding spectacle. The onlookers whisper among themselves, recognition flickering across their faces. Onlooker 1, is that Mike Tyson? Onlooker 2, holy crap, it is. What's he doing here? Onlooker 3, I think he's fighting those gang members. Maria, her elderly frame vibrating with a fiery determination, joins the chorus of cheers that rise from the crowd. Maria, her voice straining with excitement, her hands clenched into fists. "Get them, Mr. Tyson. Show these hoodlums not to mess with good people. You show them who boss." The crowd roars in approval, their vows now surging with a newfound sense of justice, a collective rallying cry behind Tyson's crusade. Tyson, his movements now a blur of speed and precision, delivers a devastating uppercut that would make even the most seasoned fighter wince, the final member still reeling from Tyson's Earlier blows crumples like a fallen tree crashing into a stack of wooden crates. The market erupts in a thunderous cacophony of cheers and applause, a collective release of pent-up emotion at the sight of the delinquent gang being put in their place. Some onlookers clap in approval while others shout words of encouragement like sharks scenting blood in the water. The police lights flashing and sirens wailing converge on the scene of the brawl, the fight now coming to a sudden halt. The officers emerge from their patrol car, their expressions a mix of concern and confusion. They scan the crowd, their eyes darting from the defeated gang members to the bruised and panting Tyson. Up to Officer 1 approaching the scene cautiously. "All right, what's going on here?" The crowd, its energy shifting from exhilaration to righteous indignation, quickly gathers around the officers like a protective shield. Bystander 1 thrusting his finger accusingly at the G members. "Those guys started it, they were harassing everyone." Bystander 2 clasping Tyson's shoulder. "Yeah. And Mr. Tyson here saved us all." Bystander 3, his voice rising above the din. "You should arrest these jerks and leave Mr. Tyson alone." The officers, their faces a steady and grim efficiency, set to work cuffing the groaning gang members, their arms twisting awkwardly behind their backs as they're roughly ushered into the back of the police car. Officer 2, his voice curt, his demeanor all business. "All right, you're coming with us. Don't even think about resisting." The gang members, their arrogance replaced by a mix of humiliation and pain, slump into the car like sacks of potatoes, their groans and muttered curses drowned out by the cheers of the crowd as the officers secure the gang members in the patrol car. One of them, his face a mix of gratitude and admiration, turns to Tyson, his voice carrying a newfound respect. Officer nodding approvingly at Tyson. "Thanks for handling this, Mr. Tyson. You probably saved a lot of people from getting hurt. We appreciate it." Tyson, now visibly calmer, his chest heaving as he catches his breath, nods in acceptance, his eyes betraying the slightest hint of satisfaction. With the gang members safely in police custody, the officers slammed the doors of the patrol car shut, its tires squealing as it pulls away. But before he's hauled off, Louise, still struggling against the officer's grasp, manages to twist around, his eyes locking onto Tyson like lasers of malevolent hatred. Louise, his face now contorted with rage, bares his teeth, his words a mix of venom and fear. Louise, his voice ragged, his eyes wide with bewilderment. "Who the hell are you? You're not just some old guy, are you?" His words dripping with confusion and malice hang in the air like a noose, his eyes frantically scanning Tyson's face for any hint of recognition. Tyson, his smirk a subtle but unmistakable expression of amusement, coolly replies, his words like a punchline to Louis's confusion. Tyson, his voice Ryan confident, "I'm just a guy who doesn't like bullies. Looks like you learned that lesson the hard way." He turns away, his shoulders straightening as he begins to walk back towards Maria's fruit stall, leaving Louise with nothing but the bitter taste of humiliation. The crowd, its collective admiration for Tyson swelling like a tidal wave, erupts into a cacophony of cheers and applause, drowning out the sound of the patrol car's engine as it recedes into the distance. Tyson, his composure restored, picks up his bag of oranges, inspecting them for damage before dusting them off and tucking them under his arm. He begins to stroll back towards Maria's fruit stall, his eyes meeting those of the grateful onlookers who offer him nods of appreciation and smiles of respect. In the digital age, a viral moment can spread faster than a California wildfire. Within minutes of the incident, the footage is uploaded to social media, a visual testimony to Tyson's strength and compassion. News outlets, always hungry for a heroic story, pounce on the footage like scavengers crafting sensational headlines that echo the internet's collective buzz. CNN headline: Mike Tyson teaches local gang a lesson they'll never forget. BBC headline: Iron Mike stands up to bullies. In the aftermath of the viral incident, Tyson finds himself inundated with requests for interviews, a torrent of cameras and microphones clamoring for his perspective. Tyson, ever the advocate for justice and equality, seizes the moment, using his platform to spread a message of strength and compassion. Tyson, his face a mask of solemn conviction, delivers his message to the cameras with the same intensity he had delivered blows in the boxing ring. Tyson, his words laced with city and purpose: "We've all got to stand up for what's right. It doesn't matter how big or small you are. What matters is having the courage to do the right thing. If someone is messing with you, don't be afraid to fight back." His words resonate with viewers and fans alike, sparking a wave of support on social media while Tyson basks in the adoration of the public. The gang members who had thought themselves untouchable learn that there are consequences to their actions in a maximum security prison. The group huddles together in their cells, their faces sullen and grim. They had thought they were invincible, but now they're reduced to inmates stripped of their pride and freedom. Officer Williams, the warden assigned to their wing, passes by their cell, a satisfied smirk on his face.